Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the OJ Podcast. I'm Daniel Bagapore, and today we're interviewing my friend Matthew Kusto.
Hi.
Matthew's a friend of mine. I've known him for how many years now, Matthew?
I want to say 3 years, maybe?
3 years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to say about that.
And we've done some Bible studies together.
Yes.
Back when I was in Virginia, actually. We would Skype about once a week, right?
Yeah. With other mutual friends as well.
Yeah, with some of our friends. So
yeah.
Sort of a friend of a friend. That's how I met you.
Yeah.
But we turn out to be from some of the same neck of the woods because his ancestry is...
So it goes like, it's Palestine. My parents were born under Palestine.
Yeah.
But you could trace it all, my dad's side, you could trace it to like Syria or even Greater Syria at the time. And then my mom, just like the Jordan area, Kuwait and stuff like that. So,
okay.
Yeah, just all basically the region. It's Levant. That's the region. Okay. So that's what I'd be like classified as.
A Levantine person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
I do think you have I don't know if I'd mentioned this to you, but your eyes resemble some of my friends from Egypt.
Really?
Because they have like that same it's weird. It's probably really weird to pick people's facial features apart. But
I did a DNA test, so I'm like 2% Coptic Egyptian. So
okay, dude, yeah, totally, yeah. So that 2% is in the eyes. Yeah, and then the nose, you definitely didn't get the Persian nose because Persians we have like almost like a Roman or native,
Yeah.
the native chief nose. My friends would call it the chief nose.
Nice.
My Native American friends, but yeah, but you have like the more petite. I don't know where that comes from, but that's cool, dude. Mm-hmm. And then he's got the curls and the hair because of course everyone from the Middle East.
Yeah.
We've been blessed with lots of hair.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd say my hair is more wavy though.
Yeah.
But
yeah, actually, and you have that slight curl, which is like probably a tribute to your Arab heritage, right?
Yeah. So.
Yeah, because Persians don't have curls.
Really?
No.
Oh wow.
Like the Persians, like they have like straight hair.
Really?
Yeah, from what I've seen.
Okay.
But it's fun. I mean, and these are all generalizations, of course. Like there's always people, who are outliers, but it's fun, man. It's fun to get to celebrate our heritage and ethnic diversity and
Yes.
So we kind of got on that first as to your origin, but tell us a little bit about like your upbringing, like your culture.
Oh, my culture. Well, I really love the food. I'll be honest. It's my mom's cooking is the best.
Yeah, dude.
But yeah, I mean, oh man, there's just a lot of history. It's like I don't really know where to begin. But I do know that like as far as like I go, I was just I was born in LA, moved out here when I was a little bit younger. Yeah. And then I as far as like faith goes, I'd say elementary, I was kind of like I attended the Syrian Orthodox Church. Oh yeah. But until like maybe 4th, 5th grade, I stopped going because it was just the distance. Okay. And so I kind of picked it back up 7th, 8th grade at the Coptic Church. Yeah. Coptic Orthodox Church, and it's been a fun time. I really enjoyed it. I was very fortunate growing up in that church. Yeah. So I definitely learned a lot, and it kind of shaped me who I am today. So, yeah. Yeah, and something I hope to do is just kind of like help educate others with what I learned from the Coptic Church with some of my Syrian friends as well. So yeah.
Because from what I've been surrounded with, it was very common to hear like people who are Greek Orthodox, right, or Eastern Orthodox, to be more probably correct. But it was rare to encounter anyone from like Syrian Orthodox or Coptic Orthodox. You're like, whoa, what is that? Yeah.
They're I'd say that the Eastern Church is like Eastern Orthodox Church is more prominent here in America because there's the American Orthodox Church that's under the Greek Orthodox, or I guess now they're called the Antiochian. Okay. But at the end of the day, my church was in Antioch, so I'm the true Antiochian church.
Interesting. No way, dude.
Yeah, we were founded 33, 34 AD, and then we turned into the Syrian Orthodox Church. Syriac, Syrian. Syriac is just a language, like Coptic. Coptic, that's a language. Yeah. But Syriac is it's the same thing basically. Yeah, but there's a lot more Eastern churches here. My mom actually she's Greek. Well, she's Rome Orthodox. Yeah. And so I have like a lot of my mom's side of the family is like they're all Rome Orthodox as well.
Orthodox.
Yeah. Not Rome. Room.
Okay.
Like Roum. And
where do these people come from?
Yeah. So they split from the now Antiochian Church.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Antioch, as in like modern day Antakya, like in Turkey, where they had all the earthquakes just a few months ago. No. So not the same Antioch, not the biblical Antioch.
But I believe there are churches there. So.
Okay. Yeah. Well, clearly, because in the Bible it talks about the church in Antioch, right?
Yeah.
But so you guys are a different group, but they're called Antiochian.
Yeah.
Right.
They changed their name, I'd say 10 years ago, 12 years ago, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Syrians, like as far as like history is concerned, are you guys the same people that like Nineveh was inhabited by?
By Nineveh? What do you mean,
like the ancient city?
Oh.
Or I mean, you didn't get to talk to your great grandpa before he died, so probably nobody else.
No.
But yeah, I'm just curious.
I'm not too familiar.
Or are you at all related to the Assyrians? Like,
they're like it's really all the same. It's the Chaldeans, the Assyrians, and the Syriac. The Syrians. Okay. Like I mean, like it's the same region, you know. Like we're all, I say like cousins. We're basically cousins.
Yeah.
It's just the only thing that separates us is just like a river, I think.
Okay.
So, but yeah, we come from Aram. That's
from Iran.
No, Aram.
Oh, Aram.
Noah's grandson, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Aram. Okay.
Aram. Yeah.
That is crazy. But you guys have like your race, if you will, like descended them or has traced their lineage from Aram.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's
Dude,
cool.
that is so cool. Because like to have, most of us don't even know who our great grandpa was.
Yeah.
You know, in America, and so to have that kind of a heritage and that backing, it's amazing. Yeah.
So no, yeah, there's a lot of history through my veins. So I mean, also you as well. So
yeah. Mine's a little bit more lost, but actually one thing that it stood out to me because you mentioned Chaldeans, and I've always been very interested because like, you hear about like biblical prophecy, right? Daniel, who I'm named after, and like the kingdom of Babylon, and I was up in San Jose at the Egyptian History Museum up there because I really love Egyptian history. Like ancient history is where it's at, in my opinion, and they were talking about this one little clay like dollhouse basically that was made. That was a picture of a Chaldean home. And in the center of the house was like a little window, you know, that opened up to the sky. And I was like, well, because they talk about the Chaldeans being like the wise men, you know, and the people who could like see the future or like interpret dreams. And there was like this whole like mystical connection to God, basically, you know, through that. And I'm sure there were some of these like wise men were probably more like wizards and tapping into like the wrong stuff. But like clearly like the ones in the Bible, like Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, those advisors, you know, were told in the Bible, they were men who followed Yahweh, the Hebrew God, right? So it was just interesting to me to see that, this is what their houses looked like, you know, those advisors. And maybe some of those magi from the East, maybe they came out of that, you know, realm as well to make their way all the way to, you know, where Jesus was born.
Yeah.
But yeah, did you ever hear anything crazy from your family as far as like, you know, history or where they I was talking to my dad once and he was like so this is like it's pretty dark but during it's called Safo means Syriac for by the sword this back in 1914 I think there was just kind of like you know like the Armenian genocide and that it took place like with the Ottoman Empire and all that. He was telling me that well they're from Aziz. That's like a city that like never fell to the Ottomans, but and so he was telling me that I think if I remember correctly that like his great grandmother, my great grandmother, all her brothers were like killed basically. Yeah. So it took a dark turn. Who killed them?
Just the Ottomans.
The Ottomans.
I believe it was. I think it was the Kurds. I don't want to. You know.
Yeah, you don't want. You don't want to blame somebody who didn't have anything to do with it.
Yeah, but I don't know. I forget who, but I just know like it was under the Ottoman Empire. But yeah, I mean it's kind of sad because like Safo isn't really like taught in schools. But yeah, that was like the Assyrian genocide. About 750,000 were just gone. So
dang, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And then of course you have the Armenian genocide, a million plus, whatever. And then the Coptic, they also faced I think about 500,000. I want to say so.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's interesting to me too because I was reading about the conversion because ancient Egyptians, obviously they worshipped Ra, right? And like all those other gods.
Yeah.
But then there was a stage in history when basically like it was kind of like colonialism, like the Greeks and the Romans had came in, and they were like making the African Egyptians feel basically like second class citizens in a way in their own country, because they were basically they hadn't won, they lost to these foreign powers,
right?
And so they'd mentioned that was sort of, according to this, I don't know if it was the person who like curated the museum, if it was their own input as well, probably, so I take it with a grain of salt. But in the poster where they're describing like the stages of Egyptian religion, they said the most recent conversion to Christianity was largely influenced by that sense of, well, we have nothing else to hope for in this world. We've become second class citizens in our own country, so they were clinging to Christianity as a way, basically saying, hey, we can still have a good eternal life even in the midst of imperialism, and we're just like basically the slaves of some foreign powers.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that's like, it'll always stick with me is that the early church Christians, they sought persecution.
That's
and
crazy.
I know. And it's just like to hear, I mean, kids my age, maybe even like, a little bit older, whatever. Like they don't take it as serious. It's just kind of like, man, guys, we had people, who died for the faith. Like they willingly sought persecution.
Right.
And I remember a story was being told, but I don't know if this is accurate or whatnot, but like the Romans, they'd go around in carts grabbing kids, throwing them, to be martyred. You
told me this story. This is good, yeah.
And so the children, they'd leap into the mother's arms, like from the cart into the mother's arms, but the mothers, they'd throw them back. I know it sounds very
harsh,
gruesome.
Man, yeah.
Yeah, but it's because the mother's looking at it like, well, okay, my kid is going to become a martyr for Christ.
Yeah.
And so he's going to go to heaven and,
right.
going to skip over this world basically.
Fast pass.
Yeah. Because, if you're baptized in blood, you're kind of, like your sins are forgiven, and like, you just kind of, God will look at you like, okay,
yeah,
you stood for me, and so I'm going to let you in. And another story is that the 21 martyrs of Libya, that happened, I want to say 2015, maybe 2014, 2015.
Huh.
It was 21 martyrs for Christ, but there was a video about it. Their wives were just like, they were calm. They weren't crying. They weren't, hating on.
So beautiful.
Yeah, they weren't hating on the ISIS members. They were just saying, I'll pray for them. And I know that my husband's, they're up in heaven.
Yeah. So this is recent. This is like,
I'd say so, yeah.
So they were killed by ISIS?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is Islamic State, right? That's what it stands for.
Yeah.
Islamic
State of Iran and Syria, I think.
Okay. Iran and Syria?
I think. Maybe Iraq. I don't know. I don't remember what it stands for.
Neither of us are ISIS, so we didn't we can't represent their interests. But yeah. Interesting. Wow. So that's a lot of faith, man.
Yeah.
For them to be like, we're gonna just accept this, Yeah.
It's crazy.
So so obviously your faith has shaped you.
Yeah.
Right. What about your dad's business, skills? Has that been a part of your life?
Yeah. Definitely. I learned a lot of like, just kind of how to talk to people. How to negotiate. And also it's just kind of like my dad, he'd always tell me like, I don't know, if it wasn't for God, I wouldn't be able to do this.
Yeah, man.
Yep. But yeah, it's he's been a business owner for a long time, actually, even before I was born. But yeah, he's always had a business mind. And it definitely shaped who I am, because I got to see like a lot of the homeless, a lot of the less fortunate.
Yeah.
And it just kind of you kind of think like, man, like if you have a lot of money and if you have a lot of I guess like status, you could use that for good. I believe it was St. John Chrysostom. He said the rich were made for the poor, and the poor were made for the rich's salvation. So it's kind of all like, if I'm a poor man, you're a rich man, and you see me on the street, you can help me out, and so then God will look at you like, okay, he will receive a blessing in heaven. Yeah. And then so as the rich man, you'll receive the blessing, and So it's like
treasures in heaven.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But do the Coptics believe that you earn your salvation by works, or is it by faith? Or
It's by both.
It's by both. Okay.
Yeah.
So because I come from an evangelical background, which is like, I think it's very cut and dry. Like they're like, nope, it's only by faith. But then if you look at the Bible, she says, like faith without works is dead, right? So it's like, you tell me you have faith. Well, I'll show you my faith by my deeds, by my works, right? Paul says that. Yeah. So it's interesting to me, like how there's sort of been this like cultural movement to where everyone's like, well, no, it's not about works. But then if you look at the ancient churches, it's like they've kind of tied the two together, right?
Yeah.
It's sort of like, well, if one exists, the other is going to exist as well.
Yeah.
Right. In the police academy, they told us guns and drugs. If you have guns, you're going to have drugs. If you have drugs, you're going to have guns.
Right.
So kind of in the same way for people who are following a moral direction in life and not, violence and killing and destroying themselves. Yeah. There's sort of this idea like, hey, if you're going to have good works, you're going to have faith with it.
Yeah.
Right. If you're going to have faith, you're going to have good works.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
but can you elaborate on that a little bit? So what does your church consider like good deeds, or like what's the highest calling?
Well, for someone that's married, I mean, it's a priest. But like a really, really like a high calling is like a monk basically, because you're called to kind of be like an angel. I was reading it from one of the fathers, or it might have been from a TikTok. I'm not too sure. I don't remember, but
he was reading it. No. He was reading it from one of the fathers. It might have been a TikTok. That's what I tell people too. I was reading this article. Actually, I was watching a YouTube video. It was like I don't read articles anymore. Yeah.
I think I was reading one of the fathers, but they were saying like it's oh no, I was listening.
Okay, we'll give it to you. Listening is at least better than watching it on TikTok.
Yeah, it was through a podcast.
There we go.
Yeah,
podcasts, they're good for you.
Yes. It was saying like it's like marriage, like if you're a priest, that's a high thing. Because well, one, you're responsible for your family's spiritual life, but then you're also responsible for other spiritual lives as well.
And that's one key difference between Catholic priests and Orthodox priests, right? Orthodox priests are allowed to become married. Orthodox priests.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not really too familiar like with the Catholic Church rituals, but I don't think they believe in marriage for priests. But for monks, bishops, patriarchs, they can't get married. Yeah, it's because they're dedicating their life to God.
Okay.
Yeah, and so again, for monasticism, if you're called, it's a calling. If you want to get married, you're not going to be a monk. Yeah. Which I want to get married. Yeah. The monastic life it's peaceful, but it's it's not for me.
And yet you and I have both fantasized about being monks, though, right?
Well, I mean, I think it happens.
Sort of like in an alternate reality, wouldn't it be so cool to just go and like, grow
in the wilderness?
Yeah, grow fresh produce and like feed orphans and widows and just like hang out with a bunch of dudes for the rest of your life. Hoorah! Serving the Lord.
Yeah, no, I think every religious guy has thought of just like, you know what, I'm going to go to the wilderness and just live.
Just worship God.
Yeah. But again, I keep touching up on the monastic stuff. I don't even say it, but you're called to be an angel, essentially. Angel-like. So
on
it's
that, kind of like that, yeah.
Yeah, because, the idea is like, as far as I remember, is you're walking closer to God, so you kind of have more of a responsibility. That's just kind of like what I'd see it as.
Yeah.
So. And then eventually, if you're a monk, you could become a bishop, then you could become a patriarch. Patriarch is like head of the church. So.
Wow. So it's kind of like the Pope, like the Coptic version of the Pope?
Yeah. So the Catholics, they took the name Pope, or Abba. Yeah. Or the Coptics, they right now their patriarch is Pope Tawadros II. And mine is Marmoran Ignatius, I think. I'm.
It doesn't help that they have very difficult names.
Well,
like but I Catholics do know have Pope John Paul. That kind of stuff is a lot easier to remember.
Oh yeah. But I do know his name before he was ordained as a patriarch, which is Sayyid Karim.
Sayyid Karim. Yeah. Okay. Wow. That sounds very not Christian.
I mean,
from a Western mindset, it's like, wow. Like he probably gets flagged twice when he goes to the airplanes.
I think he flies private, but
okay, there you go.
So,
do you get flagged twice when you go on the airplanes?
I've never flown actually.
You've never flown?
No.
How non-Middle Eastern have you?
Well, when I was 2 to the Middle East. Okay. I think to Kuwait or Jordan.
There you go.
So
okay, cool.
Yeah, that was the only thing I remember was seeing my grandpa at the airport and riding camelback. That's
dude, you were riding a camel?
Yeah, well, I was like 2, so
that's so cool. Yeah. Okay, never mind. I take it back. You're right. You're more Middle Eastern than me.
Yeah, and I had the
like the Arab hat too.
Yeah,
like the whole Abraham. Like the son of Abraham right there. Yeah. Dude, that's so cool.
Yeah. So
wow. How awesome is that? The wind blowing through your whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then, okay, what about confessions? Do you guys have to do confessions to your priests?
It is a sacrament in the church.
And what's a sacrament for the lay people who don't understand anything about religion?
I just had to talk about this too. Sacrament is just kind of like a. Oh man, I don't remember. Oh my goodness, I know this is bad, but it's just kind of like marriage is a sacrament, priesthood is a sacrament.
Like sacred things, right?
Yeah, sacred things. Yeah.
Okay. Because I know they talk about the Holy Sepulchre is a sacrament in the Catholic Church.
The Holy Sepulchre, I think.
I think it's talking about like the communion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy Communion. But I don't even know, man. Sepulchre. I'm like, this is all some kind of Latin stuff. I speak English and Turkish and Spanish. That's it. And not very well. But okay. So you guys have sacraments.
Yeah, there's 7. Do I remember them? Not at the top of my head.
So he's not. I picked the wrong Coptic, guys.
Whoa.
Maybe we'll get
Syriac Orthodox.
Oh yeah, Syriac Orthodox.
It's just we're sister churches.
Sister churches. Yeah. There we go. So, but at least
with the Armenians.
Yeah, at least he has a taste a little bit more than I do about that stuff. But I did get to meet Father George, which I'm hoping I can interview him at some point too.
Yeah.
Super cool guy. Mm-hmm. I loved his story about the. It was like the man who found a woman who was like stranded on the ocean or something, and then he like brings her to this beautiful house and he gives her the keys, and then he doesn't like force himself upon her, but he's like, if you would like to, I can be your husband. You're so beautiful. I love you so much. And then she can say also like, no, I reject you. And he's like, that's basically what Jesus did for us. You know, it's like he died. He paid the price for our sins. He said, hey, if you want to receive me as your husband, as your spiritual leader, as your savior, I'll be there for you. But if not, I'm not going to force myself upon you. I love that because you could tell, even though I don't think he's married, right?
Oh, he is.
Oh, he is. Okay. Oh, okay. Never mind. So he knows a lot about love. Like I was just like, man, this guy is like such a beautiful person.
Yeah.
No,
we all love him a lot. He's amazing. Honestly, he's an angel on earth, really.
Yeah, dude, for real, man. If as close as I don't believe people can become angels, but if they could, Father George would be one.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow, that's awesome. So okay, so a little bit more on business. So you have the gift of business as well, right?
Yeah.
Would you say?
I'd say so.
Descended from Abraham.
I mean, aren't we? I guess all descendant. Well, like from Noah.
Not me. Right? I'm not descended from Abraham. I'm descended from Noah.
Oh, well.
Yeah. But I think Abraham got a special blessing. Like that's why I personally believe, and this is again generalization, but I believe Arabs and Jews, man, because they're both descendants of Abraham, I believe they have like an inherent ability to start a business no matter where they are in the world and prosper. It's just like a miracle. It's like a superpower.
It's just, I mean, it's just a lot of trade back then,
Yeah.
So we would trade with all the world. I mean.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to know.
Yeah.
So even if you don't major in it, it's still in your DNA.
It's in your DNA. Yeah. So. I think so, man. I'm like, someday some scientist is going to figure it out. He's going to be, well, there's something in Abraham's descendants. They have like a special gene that allows them to do business well. Yeah. So, and in alignment with that, so let's step into career now. So what is it that you studied? What is it that you're going for? What is your passion?
Well, I have a degree in finance.
Okay.
Have I utilized it? No. I wish I did. Truly, I do.
Yeah.
Because it's really fun at the end of the day. It's just kind of, it's more like a puzzle, I'd say, as far as like looking at the balance statement, the income statement, and the cash flow.
Yeah, that's not sexy at all.
I mean, crunching numbers in Excel, it does get pretty
dry.
Well, I was going to say like, it gets very steamy, yeah.
Steamy, wow.
Exciting.
I don't have the gifting. I don't have that blessing.
But that's definitely like a very important skill you'd want to know is Excel, because that's very like, you have to know it.
So if you want to get into business, accounting, all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Accounting is like a different thing, but you just want to know like the accounting principles. So I'm just a finance guy. That's just me. And then I'm also like studying computer science. I do want to merge the two. So like investment banking, like quantitative finance, developing algorithms for trading. Yeah, that's what I want to do.
Okay, that's your passion.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say so. It's fun. I definitely enjoy it. It's just, man, like computer science is just like, I don't know. It's challenging. That's for sure. Right. It's fun. It's good. You know, it gets you using your brain. Right. But it's challenging. Dang. But I mean, the goal is to make money. So.
Yeah. You have to find something that no one else wants to do, or they can't do as well as you, and that people will pay you for, right? And then you have a fair shot at becoming the next, I don't know, investment banker.
Something like that. That's the goal.
Yeah.
I mean, the real goal is like, you know, just to retire young.
Retire young.
I mean, you know, I want to explore the world. Yeah, like Spain, Greece. I don't know. Yeah, man. Iceland, maybe. It's pretty nice.
You'll blend in the first two countries. That third one, you're gonna stand out like a sore thumb.
I will, yeah. So, yeah.
Wow. Okay, cool. And so the disclaimer is Matthew has not officially arrived yet. He's still loading, you know, as an investment banker, because you're taking classes, you've made steps, you know. Yeah. Studying accounting. Which university you go to?
I graduated from UCR.
UCR, you graduated, and you're getting a master's now?
That's God willing. I just want to find work first. Okay. So I want to work in finance, like financial analyst. Yeah. And then get my master's in computer science.
And in the interim, you've also done some very interesting jobs. Like your dad owns a smoke shop here in town, right?
Yeah.
Don't smoke, by the way.
Yeah, don't.
But if you do, smoke at Matthew's. We'll put a link in the description. Yes. No, I'm serious. Don't smoke. But yeah, we might put a link in the description just for fun, just so people can see. You know, you came out of you didn't have everything handed to you.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Right. So and then where do you work now? You also work at.
I just work at Amazon.
And what do you do there? Anything exciting?
Honestly, not really. No. It's very easy. Just my site, we're doing a lot of lifting. Okay. But it just gets pretty boring at times. The managers are very cool though, the AMs and the OM. Okay, that's cool. They're very awesome, very cool people. I enjoy working with them. They're nice. They make an effort to kind of make it more of not relaxed, but just kind of like not so grueling.
More of a family.
Yeah, I'd say family. But just to kind of like make, you know, because it sucks. You know, you're working 8 hours a day. Well, now 10 hours a day.
Yeah, but you get shorter weeks now, right?
Yes,
that's good.
So that's good. But it just gets grueling. But shout out to them. They're really cool.
Yeah, man. Amazon sort of sponsored this podcast in a way. It's like all this gear was purchased on Amazon. Like at least like 50% of it. The other ones were B&H Photo.
B&H Photo. Yeah. Never heard of them.
Yeah, but yeah, man. Producer. So you're providing a service to the world, and for that we thank you, Matthew.
Yes.
Yeah, but we're excited to see where you go from here. Yeah, I'm looking forward to when you're like $1 billion investment banker, and I can ask you again, and you'll have people be like, Daniel, I have no time to podcast. I'll be like, well, shoot. At least
I'll always make time, Daniel. Don't worry.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, I see you having a bright future. Hopefully, you know.
Thank you.
You keep working hard and doing good. Mm-hmm. But what advice would you have for younger people who want to get into, you know, the same things you're doing? Like maybe they're just like, I just want to get to college. Shoot, you know, or you know, maybe I'm not going to retire early, but I'd like to get into, you know, accounting or investment banking or financial analyst, that kind of stuff.
So as far as what I've been hearing, definitely like learn Excel. Finance, if you like statistics, which I really like. And also if you just kind of, I'm blanking on it, but it's basically like where you're just very like analytical. So if you have like look at it like at a different approach. And of course, if depending on which route in finance, you're gonna have to know selling. So that's gonna be a very big key, because sometimes you're gonna be selling financial products. Okay. Whether they're good or not, I won't disclose. But some are good, some are not so good.
Define financial products, because a person like me doesn't know.
Just like I guess like bonds or
stocks.
Yeah, stocks or CDs.
Okay.
It's forgetting the full what the CD stands for, but annuities as well. Those I guess it depends on which one, but it's kind of like a life contract, I'd want to say. So you're kind of stuck with it for 10 years.
So you have to learn how to sell that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, basically. Yeah, I would just look into that. Definitely just improve on your selling skills, because at the end of the day, you're still going to sell yourself, because it's for an interview.
Gotcha.
So if you're a good seller, you'll land a job.
Gotcha.
Clearly, I'm not that good of a seller. I haven't found a job yet, but
that's okay. It's okay. It'll come
eventually.
We're having a bad time right now.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, and definitely work on like financial modeling, Excel, as mentioned again, and then your analytics. So that's very important. And actually, recently, you'd want to get into like coding, like Python or C++.
Now here's something I can talk about a little bit. Yeah. So why coding, Matthew?
That's just kind of where the industry is headed. It's definitely, as far as like, it just makes everything a lot smoother. And that is, again, that's where the money is. So if you can combine the two, that's where most of the money is.
Okay.
But because a lot of job descriptions I'll find, like they say, oh, we want someone with Python experience, or Java or C++. Especially like for data analytics as well. I would say they're kind of similar. I've asked some people. Just financial analyst is like you're dealing with financials of companies. Data analyst is just kind of like different types. It's different types of data. At the end of the day, like raw data is still data.
Yeah. So basically, like I don't know that much about Python and coding, but like basically you have to have abilities to like build a database, right?
Yeah.
And like analyze that information. What else?
Excuse me. I would say it's more of like pandas. That's the Python library.
Okay.
It's just for data science, data analysis.
Okay.
You can like import, like Excel files.
Okay.
To clean up data, analyze data, whatever it may be. So it's very cool. I've done a data science class. The professor, he was very awesome. It was fun. And so I kind of got to see like a little glimpse into like a data scientist's mind.
Yeah.
So you can apply, again, it's Excel and Python, so you could apply those to finance.
Okay. Yeah. So kind of like to a lay person, like just an average YouTuber, right? Like me, you could see, okay, they've got like Google Analytics or YouTube Analytics, right? Where it shows like, oh, the last podcast had 70 views and we had like 10 views in the first 5 hours. So we're doing a pretty good job compared to the last one, which got 2 views in the first 5 hours, right? And like a total of 30 views. Yeah. So basically it's just like that scaled up, right? On steroids, where you're like, okay,
basically
I can see, which stocks are performing well. Yeah. Which stocks to get out of and hopefully get out of it faster than the other guys who have less good software.
Yeah. And so that's where like machine learning comes in. Maybe even AI into the finance industry. Just to kind of train an AI to buy and sell like a human.
Yeah.
So
I think is it as easy as those, we've all seen these ads where they're like, let me show you how to make your first million using AI.
I think those are just scams.
Yes. Thank you for saying that. I kind of knew, but I kind of wanted to have people hear that, because I feel like there's a lot of this get rich quick mindset out there. In front of people like, oh, you just got to manifest things and they'll come your way. And it's like, no, man, like hard work, right? Determination. Learn Excel. It's not sexy. You have to learn how to use paperwork and like coding. Like your brain is going to hurt. Yeah. Well, if you're going to try to get some money, right?
What those day trading gurus, I'm trying to get into day trading, but what they do is just kind of, some of them will like get lucky. They'll go all in on one and then like they'll go 10,000 in.
Strike it rich.
Yeah, strike it, and then that 10,000 turns into $1 million, and then they go, oh yeah, I did this to copy the strategy.
Yeah, but they don't know what the heck they did. They just accidentally did it.
Yeah.
Right.
So definitely like there's just free resources. You could always just, if they want to sell you a course, it's a scam. Basically, that's just the rule of thumb in the industry, like in the day trading industry. So.
Right. So, but you have been learning about day trading as well, right?
A little bit.
Where are you learning for that? What advice do you have for people who want to learn about that?
It's just YouTube.
Just YouTube?
Yeah.
You watch a lot of YouTube?
YouTube University, yeah.
YouTube University. Okay.
Books also.
Do you have any books you recommend?
There's one that's just kind of like I guess it's just more of like an introduction, kind of like, okay, this is what it's about, and very, very introduction. It's just How to Day Trade by Andrew Aziz.
Andrew Aziz, okay.
It's pretty good. I read half the book.
He's not your cousin, is he?
No.
We're putting in a little spiel for our own family members here. Just kidding.
No, but
yep.
Yeah, so it's a pretty good book. I mean, also Reddit again.
Okay.
They there's just like a day trading subreddit. So.
Yeah, Reddit is good actually. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Someday it's gonna go the way of Google, but for now it's okay. Mm-hmm. Like YouTube used to be free. You know that? Yeah. Back in like the 2000s, I used to be able to watch YouTube with no commercials.
Yeah, I remember those days.
Yeah, and if something was on the internet, it was true back then, for the most part. Mm. But now, it's like the opposite. I'm like, if you see it on the internet, it's probably a lie.
Yeah.
It's crazy how things have changed.
There's a lot of misinformation.
Yeah, but maybe Reddit will still hold out for a little longer. So you might be able to get some day trading info from Reddit. Okay. Yeah. Well, what about your purpose? What would you say is your purpose, Matthew?
Well, I mean, I'm almost 22 years old, and I don't really, I don't know. I mean, I've been trying to figure that out for, a few years. I just, I really don't know. I mean, I'm trying to figure it out. I pray about it.
Yeah.
And I really just, it could be to help people. I do like helping others. But it could just be service. It could just be service for God.
Yeah.
It could be anything. I mean, I'm open for it. So you just can't really like pick and choose. It's not really to say, hey, I want to do this or that or that. Mm-hmm. One thing actually, like I've come to a realization is that, so I want to serve in my church, the Syrian Orthodox Church.
Yeah.
Just because I mean, there's not that many churches in the U.S. It's mainly Orange County, LA. But I feel like, I could, again, I don't want to sound like prideful or vainglorious, whatever, but,
sure.
I definitely want to help out the people there.
Yeah.
But again, it's like, Matt, if you want to serve, you have a church, not even a few miles away. So you can serve there first.
True.
And then, at the Coptic church, again, it doesn't matter. It's sister churches.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, I guess, hypocritical of me to say I just want to serve here, but not here, God,
Right.
So I guess, would that be hypocritical? I mean, yeah.
I think so. There was a man I met in a laundromat whose name was something Honorare or Honore. Mm-hmm. And he had the most interesting tattoo. He had, I think, it was either a teardrop or a cross above each eye. Mm-hmm. And I think he had a cross in the middle of his forehead. And he looked like somebody who probably killed lots of people. And go figure, you're in a laundromat in Hemet. You're going to meet somebody who may have killed a lot of people.
Yeah.
And the dude tells me this. He tells me 3 stories, really sad stories. One of them was about a man who, he had this burden, and he was praying to God. He's like, God, I want to carry a different cross. This cross is too heavy for me. This burden is too heavy for me. So then an angel appears to him and tells him, all right, go in the closet. You're going to pick out a different cross, a different burden to carry. And he sees this room full of crosses, right? And there's some crosses are huge, massive, right? Mm-hmm. And then there's some others, that are medium sized. And then there's one cross at the very bottom of the room that's just sitting in the corner. It's really small little wooden cross. He's like, I want to carry that cross. Mm-hmm. And then the angel says, that's the cross that you've been carrying. So it was everybody thinks the grass is greener on the other side.
Right.
And he tells him that big cross over there, that's being carried by this old widow who's faithfully praying, all these things. And he's like, you think you can't handle the little cross you got?
Yeah.
Get back in a fight, basically.
Yeah.
And he had another story which was really interesting. It's kind of on a tangent, but I'll share it anyway. Because sometimes these old crazy people who killed lots of people maybe at a laundromat have words of wisdom to share for us.
Right.
He says this. He says, there was a man whose son had left and disappeared for a long time. And he'd never heard from him. And then one day he hears his son knocking on the door. And his son says, Father, oh, no, it wasn't his. He doesn't say Father. His son says, excuse me, sir, would you be willing to open up the door for this stranger? I'm just a cripple, and I need a place to stay. And the father basically doesn't know it's his son on the other side of the door. He says, no, I don't have anything to do with you, cripple. Like, get away from me, basically. Mm-hmm. I'm going back to bed. So he goes back to bed. Well, the next day, he finds out that somebody died out in front of his doorstep. Mm-hmm. And he sees that the person who died was his son, who had been maimed, or crippled. Mm-hmm. He had something bad happen to him in life, and he came back to his father to see if his father would open up the door for him. But because the man refused, mm-hmm. and the son was too ashamed to explain, like, look, I've messed myself up. He just, basically the son died. I think he committed suicide. Mm. And so then the man sees on his doorstep, man, I wish I had let in my son. I wish I hadn't, turned away that beggar, because that beggar was my child. Yeah. I thought that was a beautiful story too. Mm. But yeah, it's maybe a little depressing, but like, mm-hmm. I do think encouraging people is a good purpose, you know. And if you are gonna serve in a big, Orthodox church, mm-hmm. it might start with serving in a small Orthodox church. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, cool. But do you think is there anything you would share with a younger you, like as far as, because I've always felt that too. It's kind of like it's hard to know what your purpose is, especially when mm-hmm. you're like 22. Yeah. Like for me, you remind me a lot of myself when I was 22. Because in the good and the bad, mm-hmm. But like for people out there who are just starting to become an adult, mm-hmm. It's not always clear, is it?
No. Right? No. Even I think even if like you're older than 22, it's still not clear. Yeah. Because some of my friends, like they're kind of stressed out a little bit. Like, oh man, I don't know, like sure. my purpose, or I don't know. Blah, 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 whatever. Yeah. But I mean, I don't know what I'd tell my younger self. Definitely not to stay up late playing video games. That's for sure. There's work to be done. No, yeah. I look back and, there's work to be done. The Pope Carlos the Sixth, I think, he would start his day at 2 a.m. Yeah, no way. Just I believe he was just making it's called Urbana. It's just like a what is it in the Bible? It's like a bread that's
manna.
No, it's an
unleavened bread.
Yeah, because it doesn't have yeast. I don't think it has yeast. Or no, it doesn't have.
It doesn't have yeast, right? I mean, because if it's leavened, it has yeast. If it's unleavened, it has no yeast.
Yeah, I think it's unleavened though.
Unleavened bread.
Yeah, so he'd wake up at 2 a.m. He'd
make his unleavened bread.
Well, that's for the people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because
he'd make it for the people.
Yeah, from 2 to 8 a.m. Dude, and then at 8 a.m. from 8 to 5.
I'm not waking up at 2 a.m. to make you guys bread. I don't care how hungry you are.
From 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. he would he'd open the doors, and like there's just a sea of people just waiting for his blessing. And then after 5, he'd say, guys, come on, there's still work to be done. Let's go. And like they'd still pray and do a liturgy and all that stuff. So it's just like, yeah, that's one thing also. It's, I read it was in Practical Spirituality, according to the Desert Fathers. Basically, if, you're starting to feel bored of like studying or reading, whatever it is, read more. Because it's the devil just telling you, hey, you're not benefiting, so let's just do something else, blah, blah, blah. Which, I mean, you really are, though. So, yeah. It's just to do more work. Like there's more work you could be doing. Yeah. Yeah. So, it's, that's definitely what I'd be doing. But I would tell myself, Matt, just the game, I mean, I don't even game anymore, so it's just like, wow. I wasted.
That's convicting, because I just started getting into Fortnite again. It was becoming one of my long-lost loves. Maybe I need to neglect those passions for something more wholesome, like reading from the Holy Fathers.
Mm-hmm. Actually, about the passions, I think the 7 deadly, I don't know if the Orthodox Church still practices it's called 8 deadly passions, or like 8 vices. Okay. 8 deadly vices. But basically it's all of the 7 that you know. So it's, lust, anger, what is it? Covetousness, yes. And then it's
lying.
Oh man.
Lying, one of them? Lust, anger, covetousness. I mean, is it based off of the 10 Commandments?
Oh, envy, greed.
Greed. That's 5.
Yeah, and then there's 2 more. Oh, vainglory and pride.
Vainglory.
Yeah, and pride.
So
I think vainglory might be
7.
Yeah, I think if that's
Vain and
correct.
glory aren't separate; they're together.
Well, pride is like it's just like, oh yeah, I did this on my own. You know,
Okay.
I'm him.
I'm the man.
That's what we say.
Right, if you say I'm the man,
as what the Gen Z says.
I'm him.
Yeah,
well, that's what Gen Z says.
Yeah.
I'm so not a Gen Z.
But vainglory it's kind of a sneaky demon. It basically you're going like, oh yeah, I did this service, and so I'm going to be recognized for it by the people instead of it being by God.
I don't like people.
So
like
you kind
that.
of do it in vain. Again, vainglory. So the glory is in vain.
Right. Mm-hmm. The Bible says, "Let the left hand not know what the right hand's doing."
Yeah, for donations. Yeah, and I firmly believe in that. I don't, like if it's donation from your heart. That's why I get so frustrated when I see like donation shaming, especially on Twitter. Oh my goodness.
Oh, dude.
It's like if some billionaire donates what, I don't know, 250,000, 200 million, whatever. Like at least he gave from his heart. So it's just like at least that's all that that matters.
Maybe he gave from his heart.
Well, I mean,
But yeah,
maybe
sure.
it's benefit.
I have a scrutinous eye of billionaires. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. I'm a little rich prejudiced or whatever.
But yeah, and it's like, well, are you like? What about you? Are you donating? Are you even gonna donate $5, $1?
Yeah.
So not you. I'm just.
But being
generally
pressured,
speaking.
when they pressure people into donating stuff.
Yeah, or like donating even more. Of course, it's good to donate, but
yeah,
it's whatever's like in your heart.
Yeah, and because some people can't donate, right?
Yeah.
Realistically, like, what if you're, all your money is going to pay your house payment, your child care, like, and then like your elderly grandma's life support, right?
But I mean, remember the woman that gave her
last
2
penny.
cents? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was 2 cents. That's where it comes from.
2 cents.
Yeah. Yeah, and so obviously you don't want to do it as like, oh, I'm gonna get 100 times more, but she gave her 2 cents. The rich man didn't even give anything.
Yeah.
So she received like blessing and fortune.
Right. But I think what God was applauding, I think what Jesus was applauding was actually that she didn't know she was going to get 200.
Well, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I don't even know if she did. She might have just died that afternoon of hunger. Who knows?
Yeah.
Right. But like Jesus is saying, look, this jerk who thinks he's all that because he's giving money and telling everybody, look at me, look at me, and then there's that little old lady that nobody notices.
Yeah.
Just faithfully serving, faithfully giving. So moral of the story is be that little old lady, right?
Yeah. Don't expect anything.
Yeah.
If you expect anything, it's not.
Yeah.
Then it's in vain, basically.
Right.
So, but to go back to the 8 deadly passions.
Yeah.
The 8th one is dejection. Dejection. Or sadness. Yeah.
Wow.
The reason
no more blues music.
The reason why I feel like I haven't really looked too much into that, but it's sadness, or I guess you could say like depression. Well, it's because like Christ is. This is from Orthodox Ethos. They're on Instagram. They're really cool. I got it from them. It's just kind of like we don't really like believe in like therapy because Christ is like the perfect therapist.
Sure.
Obviously, your life is gonna it's gonna get harder once you follow Christ, but like there's joy in that suffering.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, again, like if you are feeling like depressed or whatever, please go seek help. But
yeah.
That's just kind of like the thinking behind it. So, yeah.
Yeah. So maybe some people need to try Christ, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it couldn't hurt. I mean, like there have been stories. I mean, like you got to think like, okay, let's say you're like in a really really low point of your life, and they're like, I mean, what is it gonna hurt?
Been there multiple times.
So, but yeah, I mean, like, is it really gonna hurt? Like, just say, "Hey, God, help me,"
Right. Yeah. It doesn't. It never hurt me. Yeah. I've yet to meet somebody who has says actually that turning to God hurt them. I've heard a lot of people tell me the church hurt them, or that Christians hurt them, but but I've never heard anyone tell me that God hurt them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean.
So tying it back into God.
Yeah.
What role would you say God played in all this?
Yeah.
That is your life.
Man, honestly, like I look back and it's just like you really don't notice it like until you look back, But because I just happened to end up here, when I was younger, back in 2008, 2009, didn't really go to church, and then I ended up going to a Coptic church, and then again, like that shaped like my thinking, my morals, you know, kind of like more dive deeper into what is right, what is wrong.
Right.
Now, Reddit atheism would say, "Oh, you're indoctrinated," but that's not the case.
Yeah.
I came up with my own.
Well, indoctrination is just education. It's just a more negative connotation word that they can come up with to describe it, right?
The thing is, though, if I don't want it to be like an atheism debate, but like if a Christian parents are telling a kid about, you know, God, Christ, I mean, it's no different than an atheist saying, hey, to their kid, there is no God, there is no religion. I mean, it's indoctrination on both sides.
Right. Yeah.
So,
except in my opinion, telling somebody that there's literally nothing to live for is a little more depressing.
Well, yeah, 100%. No, 100%.
Hey, there's a God that loves you very much, you know.
Yeah, but then they'll hit you with, oh well, but if you don't do right, then you're gonna go to hell. I mean,
right? You know, touche. That can be, I think, sometimes taken the wrong way too.
Yeah,
I've met people who are like, man, people were like, you know, harassing me with this like guilt and making me feel like if I didn't do this, this, and this, I was gonna go to hell. And yeah, I think religion can be used wrongly too, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, look at Joel Osteen.
yeah, look at Joel Osteen.
and what's his name? Kenneth Copeland. Yeah, they're both like prosperity
Never
preachers.
heard of him.
Oh well,
he must not be that prosperous.
Oh my goodness, no, it's actually very sad because like they're kind of manipulating people.
Yeah, to get
into
their money.
Donating church. Yeah, like I'm like, whoa, you know, it's crazy.
Yep.
Like no, like that actually, like, you know, that pisses me off because it's. I mean, come on, you know, you're taking advantage of people. It's, you know, that isn't what like a good church would advocate for. You know, right. they wouldn't dip into the donations for like their own personal. I mean, not like, okay, if, you know, typically like it'll go to like a priest because like to kind of, again, remember the priest he's dedicating his time 100 like, you know, 60 plus hours to the church.
Yeah.
And so he can't really work, you know.
Yeah, that is his job.
You know,
his job is taking care of all the people.
Now for me, like, you know, like, okay, that's fine. Like to kind of like give to them, you know. But then again, like the priest will also like, hey, you know, let's donate it to a homeless shelter. Let's donate it to a food pantry, you know, or whatever, whatever it may be. Or you know, it can go back into the church for the youth.
Sure, yeah.
You know, to kind of have.
And I guess this is like the ideal priest, the good priest, because I'm sure there's priests out there who are like, oh, we're going to use this too.
Well, yeah, of course.
Bad stuff too.
I mean, priest, pastor, you know, it's. I mean, we are human at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, we're all human.
So we are subjugated to
a good priest would do this, right?
I mean, I'd say so in my eyes.
Yeah.
Again, it's whatever. You know, it's in their heart. You know, God will, you know, open up your heart and say, hey, this is what you felt, this is what you did, blah 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 blah. You know.
Yeah, he'll judge us at the end of the day. Be like, yeah.
So, like, I mean, if you know, if you feel greed from receiving a donation or making money, then well, you know, it'll be taken away from you. That's how I look at it as. Like, you know, if you make, I don't know, let's say like in 5 seconds you make $1,000. Yeah. You go, oh yeah, you know, like that's good. I could do it again. You know, like that's the greed kicking in. Yeah. And then so you try to do it again, you lose that 1,000 and even some more. Right. You know,
when it comes to day trading, it's kind of a life example.
Yeah. So it's just like, you know, walk away at that point.
Yeah. Sell while it's green.
Yeah. Buy low, sell high. That's the goal, but a lot of us just buy low or buy high, sell low. So yeah. But to go back to the original question, it's definitely a huge factor. It's I've met a lot of cool people who also have helped like with my understanding of life. Yeah, but I mean, like you.
Well, thanks, man.
You know, you're like my older brother.
I did not pay him to say that, by the way.
I am totally not being forced to say that. Cool.
Hey, Wahid, keep pointing the gun at him. Thank you, Wahid. We're so evil.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. But Middle Eastern humor. You gotta love it. You gotta love us.
But even like
you've got to love us. Just kidding.
I would say even like where I'm at right now, like, you know, with work, it isn't the ideal situation, but I've met, you know, really, really cool people. That like you know, that are good friends. Yeah. That actually like, you know, make work at Amazon, you know, more doable. Yeah. And especially the church and like the community that's there. Right. Yeah, and so it's just something that I just want to give back, like, just kind of like help out, donate some time.
Yeah, man.
So that's, but the purpose, well, we'll see. Yeah. Definitely to help. I do want to help.
Cool.
So yeah.
Well, dude, I'm looking forward to seeing how your life progresses and how you help. And thank you for being a friend in my life too. When I was down, but I needed somebody to talk to, you were there for me. So I think it goes both ways, right?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Always.
So yeah, well, guys, we hope you learned something from this. This is my friend Matthew sharing his life advice from the age of 22.
Yeah. So, well, I turned 22 in July 28th.
Okay, so 21 and a half. Yeah. But if you're struggling out there, hang in there. I think the future will pick up for us.
It always gets better. So there's always light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah. So. Yeah. At least there has been for me. I'm 31 and I've seen a lot of good things happen. So stick it out, guys. Yeah. Maybe start learning some Excel.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay. Well, this has been another episode of the OJ podcast. Thanks, Matthew.
Yes. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Cool.